Guys, it's so good to see everybody. I'm so glad to hear that this is a topic that you guys are excited about because this is something that I love. It's something that I use in my own business, and it's something that I've taught on for probably 2 years now. And I'm honestly newer in real estate, so I just closed out year three with 2021 behind. So this is something that I started using in my business, and it's really what I saw probably to be like the biggest difference. So I would say it's what I've watched other agents take and grow really quickly with, and it's what has also made the biggest difference for me. And what I absolutely love about niche real estate is personally, I think it's fun. So the thing with niching down in real estate is you're going after what you want. This isn't about like having a cold call strategy, having a door knocking strategy. That can be a part of it, but this is about finding your ideal client and working with them. And now that I'm a few years into real estate, I can say who you work with will make all the difference in this career. I've had like so many stressful months just working with people that weren't a great fit, going too far down a rabbit hole with clients I probably shouldn't have. So the stress that comes with that and the amount of times that will make you question why you're in real estate in the first place is strong. So what I really love about niche real estate is it helps you identify where you want to go in this career. I'll go over a lot of the benefits soon, but it really helps you get to like what's going to make real estate fun for you, what's going to make this enjoyable for you. This is something that you want to do for the long haul. So I want to like, let's make it fun and let's work with people that aren't going to make us want to pull our hair out, because I promise you don't have to do that. So I want to make this class interactive. So always feel free to raise your hand. If you have a question, you can do the raise hand feature. Feel free to jump in, cut me off. That doesn't bother me. So I do like to have an interactive class. Any questions, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand here. So don't hesitate to do that. But I have my notes right here. So I'll start off with kind of just a little bit of backstory. So I just finished out my second year at eXp Realty and my third year in real estate. This past year in 2021, I closed just under 10 million in sales. And I have a 16 agent team at EXP, and I'm just working on growing my team and also growing my business. And thank you. I saw that. Thanks, guys. And I just really enjoy real estate. Like, I like all the facets. I've dabbled in coaching. I do just exclusively coach my team now, but I used to take on coaching clients. I really like teaching real estate, and this is the edge I've always taken. So whenever we even start on a call, the first thing we talk about is what is going to be your area of focus? What is your niche? So my first year in real estate was pretty bumpy, probably like a lot of you guys. I started out just really doing anything and everything I could to get a lead. I was a bit lost. I wasn't with EXP. And I really just was making my own way. And I feel like I really struggled through my first year. There was a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of feeling like not confident at all, not knowing what the heck I was doing in this career. There was a lot of struggle in my first year, and I finished out rocky, and I made just enough to feel confident about leaving my past job. But realistically, I knew that it was not a sustainable business model. So what I actually did after my first year in real estate was I made a spreadsheet, and I literally wrote down every single deal that I had from year one. So whether it was a rental, whether it was a listing, whether it was a buyer, I wrote down every single sale I had from year one in a spreadsheet. And then in a box on the spreadsheet, I put what was the source of this deal. And I started to see a trend. I started to see like probably 80% of my deals were coming from the same place. And that was from my job before real estate, which I worked at a law firm. And so I was like, this is so crazy, because I spent years like working in this law firm. I grew up around attorneys. I have attorneys in my family. And I was like, this is so wild, because I was running so far away from law. I had left my job. I was working as an assistant in a law firm, thinking I would go to law school, left that job. And that's when I got my real estate license. And I think I was kind of in this place where I was like, I just want to get away from that. And then after year one, I realized this is so silly. Why am I not leveraging that? I came from somewhere where I already had a network. Why am I throwing that away? And a lot of you probably have that too, because a lot of us don't start in real estate. A lot of us have had jobs before, we've had communities before, we've had spheres, networks before we became realtors. So a lot of this, if especially if you liked where you came from. And even if you didn't, there's probably people that you dabbled with that you enjoyed, is taking what you know. That's like my favorite line with this, is go with what you know. So what I did was, when I looked back and I was like, okay, a lot of these people came from referrals from attorneys. I kept going to the realtor, not the realtor events. I kept going to Florida bar events. I kept going to the attorney events. I kept in touch with the attorneys. I stayed around them. I stayed in the job part-time too, because I was still transitioning into real estate. And so I was like, you know what, for this next year, I'm going to do exactly what this spreadsheet is telling me. I'm going to go with what I know. I know attorneys. That's where I just left a job from. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go after it. And that's what I did in years 2 and 3. And that's what really changed things around, was I went in the direction rather than resisting it. So that was a big part of my story, and how I went from basically under $1 million my first year to consistently multi-millions in the next years. Was honestly not resisting where I came from, not resisting the network and the community that I have built up. So let's start with this. In simplest terms, what is a real estate niche? So a niche is a specialized area of focus of a broader market. So niche real estate is really about bringing a huge real estate, gamut, because if you're just a realtor, you're pretty much a generalist, and bringing it down to a specialization, bringing it down to a smaller area of focus. So I love niche real estate because this will also take a lot of the noise out of it. Whether you're brand new to real estate or you're 5-10 years in, picking a niche will help you narrow down your focus, because we know when we're generalists, it's really hard to become really good at real estate in your first year, right? Like there's so much going on. You're trying to learn everything and anything about real estate. But what would happen if you just tried to learn on a specialized area of focus rather than the whole real estate market in general? So we're taking a really broad generalized area, which is real estate, and making it a subset, breaking it down and focusing on one specific area, niche, farm, whatever you decide to make it. So this is how you can kind of go from being the generalized realtor to the specialized realtor. So like, just like an example, let's say you want to work with first-time home buyers. Now you can learn how to become the go-to for first-time home buyers. Now your focus is going to be learning about that demographic. What do they do? Where do they go? Where do they hang out? Where can I find them? Now you have somebody in mind that you want to work with. So rather than just chasing everybody that's in your town and the hours around us, we have narrowed down to what we're going to focus on. So I feel like this also gives you a chance to be the expert in an area in an expedited amount of time, because you're getting focused. And that's really the biggest thing here. We're taking a giant chunk of real estate and we're making it more digestible. So what I want you to first start to do is think about where you came from. What was your life before real estate? Where do you hang out? Who are your people? Do you have kids in school? Did you grow up in this community? What was your job before real estate? I want you to really start to think about what is either a network of people or an area of people you want to work with. So your niche can be anywhere from a farm area, a zip code, a community, a city, all the way to what I call niche networks, which are networks of people. So those would be like, if you were a nurse before this, those would be your nurse community. If you were a teacher before this, this would be your teacher community. So this is really taking that broad market and narrowing it down. So I would say probably one of the biggest misconceptions about having a niche is that it will limit you. And that was something that I feel like was kind of why I was so resistant to it in the first place, is I didn't, I had just come from law. I was trying to get away from it. I didn't want to just be in law again. Like I was kind of ready to get away from that side of my life. So I think what happened was I was like, law, I already did that. Let's move on. But with niching down, even if you pick a specific niche, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is what you're stuck to. That is you. That is the only thing that you do. What this actually does is it helps you become an expert in one field. And I'm telling you what will happen is people will see you're doing really well in your area of focus. And what they see is real estate. So what the general public is seeing is you're doing real estate. They're not seeing that you're focusing on one thing in your marketing or you're focusing on farming one particular area. They're just seeing, wow, she's crushing it in real estate. Look at all these clients she's working with. I'm going to send her people. Just because you're want to niche down to luxury condos, doesn't mean that you have to say no to a home sale that comes your way. So I know it can start to feel like, oh, but if I niche down into one specific thing, I feel stuck in that. That was definitely a misconception that I had, but I'm telling you, once you can niche down and focus, then you can expand. And so you start small and it gives you the opportunity to grow way past it. So I'll kind of go through some unique real estate niche titles. Some you may have heard, some you haven't, but I think this will give a really good idea of what I'm talking about. So this is just a little list that I've put together over the years of some niche titles, just to get your mind thinking, especially if you haven't thought of one yet. So I'm just going to run through this list really quickly. Millennial realtor, first-time home buyer expert, luxury realtor, a specific neighborhood realtor, so that would be like a farm area, new construction specialist, a military specialist / VA, probate real estate investment specialist, multifamily expert, distressed properties expert. I have a bunch here. I'll put them in the chat. And then I'm going to move on to niche networks. So this is what I was talking about. You can niche down into a specialized area, or you could also niche down to a network of people. So niche networks look like empty nesters. So your target market may look like family with children going to college, divorce attorneys, probate and estate attorneys, snowbirds, millennials, students, veterans, investors, seniors, local business owners, moms, or a specific profession like we were talking about earlier. If you want to niche down into working with teachers or wherever you came from before this. I know a lot of you have a past before this, and I'm telling you, I've seen people take this by niching down into the gym that they go to. So this is how specific you can get. Is I want you to think about those network of people that you're going to enjoy working with. And to me, that's really important because I've seen this job go both ways, where I'm spinning my wheels and people that I'm probably wasting time on and that maybe are not ideal clients. This will help you weed out who is going to be worth your time, what area they're in, what focus they're in. If they're in your niche, you may go a little further to work with them because you know it's going to bring you referrals down the line. So if we have any questions, feel free to just jump in on me, or else I'm going to just keep going.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up, Debbie?
So I really am interested in the empty nest niche, as you said.
Yeah.
What would be a really good way to market, find them, do that, just because I'm recently one myself. So
Perfect. Yeah. So that's a great network to niche into. So what I want you to do, and this was actually what I was going to talk about next, is how to bring lead generation into your niche. So this is the perfect place to start. So let's look at the empty nesters niche. So let's say Debbie says, I'm an empty nester. This is a network of people that I know. They know me. They like me. They trust me. What am I doing? Why am I not hanging around these people more? So let's say Debbie is like, I want to do the empty nesters niche. The first thing that I want you to do is identify that niche. So you have that identified. The next thing I want you to do is go through this list of questions. I probably should have shared this doc, and Tiffany, I can get it over to you. But here are some of the questions that I like to ask, and these are the guiding questions for how I'm going to get leads from this niche. So the first question that I like to ask is, where do they live? So this is all about getting really specific on who this ideal client is. Where do they live? Do they live in specific neighborhoods? Are they in a specific community? Do their kids go to specific schools? Where are these people? Where do they hang out? Where can I go to find them? So where do they live is the first question I like to ask, so I can get specific on location. So I know where to go to find these empty nesters. The next question I like to ask is, what situation are they in that they need to buy or sell? Well, with empty nesters, we know that they're probably in a situation where their kids are going off to school, and maybe they're hanging around their kids' high schools. Maybe they're going to the kids' sports games. Maybe they're going to college orientations. It's going to be about asking these key questions and answering them for yourself. So where do they live? This way you know what location you're going after. What situation are they in that they need to buy or sell? What price point are they in? Where do they hang out? For empty nesters, you're probably looking more of like a Facebook demographic, I would think. Because I would say if you're looking at people that are going to be empty nesting, or like Rainey said, they're probably downsizing. You're looking at people in a specific demographic. So I always like to think about, like, are these people on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Facebook? Is there a specific social media where you could go and target them? So where do they hang out? Could be online or it could be in person. Where do they work? I don't know if that's applicable to this one. And then any important demographics, whether that's age, gender, it could be anything that kind of helps you to identify. So for you, an important demographic may be a specific school. So if you're going to be targeting empty nesters, you may know, okay, I want to target empty nesters that are in this specific school or that are in this specific school zone. Or you may want to go a little broader. You may say, I want to target empty nesters. And I think a lot of them live here because that's where they seem to be zoned to send their kids to school. So what you're going to do is literally just dissect it by asking those following questions. Once you have those questions answered, you can kind of then turn that into your lead gen strategy. So once you say, okay, they live in these communities, they go to these schools, they hang out at these local sports teams, they go to these bars after the game, that's where you want to start to focus your lead generation. They go to the PTA meetings, they go to this coffee shop on the weekends, and you want to just literally start to get into that community, into that niche network. You want to start to figure out where they hang out and where you can go to find them. And then you're going to just build your lead generation around those guiding questions.
Jessica, can I add something that just popped
Please,
into my mind?
yeah.
Someone mentioned it here before, I mean, like a year and a half ago. And I did it on not a very good level, but in terms of building relationship, it's going to be that you're in it for the long game, right? And you know how people put graduate class of 2022 in their yard? Start thinking now, which is what I'm doing, about walking up to the door when those things start coming up in the spring. Figure out the little gift card, maybe a $5 Starbucks or some kind of congratulatory deal, and go and knock on the door and say, hey, I live here in the community. I know your child is graduating, and I just wanted to say congratulations. And here's a little gift for your student.
How
And
awesome is that? I love that idea.
that should probably turn into a conversation, and you'll end up finding out if it's their last child, and whether or not they're empty nester, and you might get a deal before that.
And that's a list and a sale potentially. So I love that demographic of going after the network. And, this is what I know I keep saying it, but this is why I keep saying, go with what you know. Like, would it make sense for me to go after empty nesters? I could if I wanted to, but it's not necessarily what I know. It's not necessarily the people that I would relate with because I'm not in their shoes. I'm not in their situation. But I go with the niche that I'm in because those are my people. That's who I've been around for the last few years. That's who I've grown up around. So this is why I think that niche real estate can make your job so much more fun too, because like Debbie said, that might be a situation that you're in or you're eventually going to be in, or the people that you see yourself around. So you're going to start working with people that you enjoy. Debbie, did you have any other questions around that?
Nope. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Guelda, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question. The gift card. I mean, I like that idea. So when I approach them, knock on the door, put the gift card on a little gift bag, should I include my gift, my business card or something that has my information on it? Or just tell them who I am?
Bill, do you want to take that?
Okay, so yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. You've got to do that. That's the whole point in getting out there. Those billboards of all those trial lawyers that basically take up 50% of all the billboards in our cities. That is your card is your billboard, at least how I think it. And you finish up with the lady and your card is in there. And you know what? Hey, Julie, if there's ever anything I can do for you, I mean, emergency AC guy, painter, paint quote, anything you need for your house, call me. Bye-bye. Thank you. And congratulations for Jennifer. Talk to you soon. Boom, you're done. And you're not really soliciting. You're coming to them with a gift. You're not doing anything like that, but absolutely you're bringing value with the gift, and then you're bringing value with, hey, you're the go-to person that if they ever need anything for their house, they can call you. Just make sure you have your vendors, and we should all we're all networked enough that we're all in the same cities on this call, and find out who uses what electrician and what plumber and what painter.
I love that. And see, that's the power of this, because you're able to narrow down your focus again, like rather than going and just lead generating and doing different things each day and getting like basically banging your head around the wall because you're like, what am I doing here? I'm cold calling because I was told to cold call. Now somebody like Debbie, maybe she has a list of people she can cold call because she's gotten really specific on who she works with. And then that's what she'll specialize in. And then those are the people she'll know to hang around, and then she'll know where to go to get leads. So that's the beauty of this. And that's how it becomes like a lead generation engine. Because like for me personally, like I said, I've really networked and niched into this attorney community down here. So I know if I feel like my lead generation is drying up a bit, I know the events I can go to meet 5, 10, 15 more attorneys in a night. So this is the type of thing that really helps you focus down and become an expert. Like one thing I forgot to mention was you can also get certified in a lot of these niches. So like whether you're certified through the National Association of Realtors, or you even go outside of that to get certified, then you can put this next to your name. So like I work with mostly estate planning attorneys. So I went ahead and got something called a CPRES. It wasn't even through the NAR, it was just through some random company. And now I can put next to my name, I'm a certified probate real estate specialist. So you can imagine the confidence that that gives me when people ask me, well, what makes you the go-to for attorneys? Well, I'm certified in this. I know how to do the probate process. I've done it. And even if I hadn't done it, at least I have the designation next to my name that says I'm aware of it and I know how it works. So that once you start to get this specific and you start to pick out a niche, start to look at if you can get certified in it. Because this is why I'm telling you, this is something that can take a month's time rather than years. You don't need 25 plus years of experience. I'm telling you, this is something you can do in your first year of real estate. So once you start to recognize and you're like, okay, I want to be maybe a VA specialist, then go ahead and look and see if there's anything you can take that makes you an expert in that field as a designation as well. I want to go back to some of these questions. So Fernando asked, how did you find your niche? Was it trial and error? So that's a great question. For me personally, I did that exercise where I did the spreadsheet. I saw where my deals came from, and I was like, there's something to this. A lot of my deals are coming from this network of people. And I just started to really dive into that. I was like, this is a group of people I'm comfortable with. This is where I worked before real estate. So I'm going to just dive really deep into that. So is it trial and error? Absolutely. Especially the more I've grown, and I've grown more on social media over the years. So now I've like started to even shift my niche a bit. Now I focus more on Instagram, and that's not necessarily where my niche hangs out anyway. So you're not stuck, you're not pigeonholed. You can always change. And I would say definitely do trial and error, especially if you're not enjoying the people you're working with. Feel free to switch it up. Rainey said downsize. Oh, that was regarding the question. Bill wants to niche down to deep. Okay. All right. Meetup.com is a fantastic recommendation. A lot of the lead gen plans I build out for my agents have meetup.com on there. Love that, David. I'm always looking on meetup.com to see where I can go to find my people. Exactly. It's very niche specific. So that's a great recommendation. George said on back of card, a QR code with testimonials from clients. Yep. So absolutely. So you can create a QR code on the back of your business card that then takes them to a link where you have testimonials from your clients. And basically, like if you have a network of people that are telling you, hey, I used Jessica to help me find a home in this community, and she was amazing. She's the expert in XYZ community. Then think about all the people that are going to see that and be like, oh, this is the expert for that community. That's what I'm going to go to. All right. I love it. Any other
Jessica?
questions? What's that? Who is that coming from? Claire.
Hey. Hey, thank you for everything that you've shared. I also want to bounce off something that has helped us in our area as well. I have like a flimsier business card, but on the back of it, it says, have a cup of coffee on me, because I deal with a historic niche and some things, especially waterfront, but there's a specific coffee shop in that area that everybody loves to go to. So I set up a plan with the business owner that whoever comes in just charge my card. So on the back of that card, And I think basically it kind of comes out to somewhere like 15, $20 a month of how many are redeemed, because it's so easy to get 1,000 of those business cards. And that's what I pass out in that specific area. And it has worked wonderful because you're helping a local business person and it's connecting them to the community, and if there's somebody who's new to the area, here, go have a cup of coffee. And
yeah, and they're holding onto your card. They're like, oh, I better keep this because I like that coffee shop. And then they have your business card in hand at all times. I love that idea. So yeah, that's like, you can get so creative with your marketing in this. So like I said, I used to do coaching and I would just like charge for coaching sessions, but now I just do this for my team. But we would literally, the coaching sessions would look like we would pick out their niche and then build out their entire lead generation strategy around their niche. And some people just aren't comfortable with cold calling. Okay, that's fine. What can we do within your niche that's not cold calling? Like Claire said, we can go hang out at that coffee shop 5 days a week. I guarantee you, if you get a little friendly, you're going to meet plenty of people by doing that. And then before you know it, you have a deal a month, 2 deals a month, 3 deals a month with people that you actually enjoy working with. So I love that. That's a great idea. Anybody else? Okay, I want to take you guys through just one other example just to kind of make sure that this makes sense with the questions as well. So here's another example for you. If you want to work with first-time home buyers, I see this being a pretty popular niche, especially with newer agents. It's more comfortable. And honestly, there is a level of excitement. They have a level of trust in you. I actually really enjoy working with first-time home buyers when I do. So let's dive into this niche. Let's say you're like, okay, this is who I want to work with. And let's dive into what a lead gen plan would look like around that. So the first question I want you to ask is, where do they live? And typically first-time home buyers live in apartment communities. So what you could do for one of your lead generation buckets is mailers to a luxury apartment community, because once you start to become the go-to in that apartment community, those are people that are always going to be moving up. Those are your first-time home buyers. So that's why these questions are really key and important. So if you decide I want to focus on millennial buyers, I want to focus on first-time home buyers, where are they currently living? Well, a lot of them are living in XYZ community in Boca Raton. Their rental communities, there's turnover. Awesome. Those are buyers for you. So you could start to send mailers to that community, that rent versus own mailer that we've all probably seen on social media. Those mailers that just introduce you, your local expert, your first-time home buyer specialist. And then before you know it, they have a pile of cards from you, and you probably will be one of their calls on their list, if not their only call, because a lot of people in apartment communities don't even have networks down here. Some of them are just now starting to live in this area. So that could be one of your lead gen buckets, is going and sending mailers to that community. Or maybe you know where they live, so you want to host a food truck, you want to do a community event. So that's where this where do they live question is really handy, because you could just literally go and get messy in that community. Like, go hang out in that community, go hang out at their pool, go start to talk to people, go to their gym, whatever it is. Maybe it's where you live. Why do they need to buy or sell? Their lease is up. They're starting a family. They want to do something of their own. They want to own something. So that's kind of what you're appealing to, right? Is it time to ditch renting? You've probably all seen those mailers. Are you ready to own something? What $3,000 a month in rent looks like versus a mortgage on a $300,000 home? You can start to get really creative with your marketing, so it's super targeted. And then you're not throwing away marketing dollars. That's the other thing on this. What price point are they in? You can start to narrow down what price point you think you're going to be hitting. And then from there, you can start to make sure if you're marketing in this area, you're going to actually hit your goals from it. Where do they hang out? Maybe they hang out in their apartment community. Maybe it's in some local restaurants around that community. Maybe there's some local bars. If you're looking at first-time home buyers, you're probably looking at people that are on Instagram, maybe TikTok now. So you may want to start to utilize your social media a little more, targeted ads, stuff like that. And then is there any important demographic info? I would say age with that one. So you're looking at probably ages 25 to 35. So that kind of helps you reel back to like, I'm going to maybe hang out on Instagram if those are the people that I want to find. And then there you go. That's your lead gen strategy right there. You're going to be on Instagram intentionally. You're going to be creating content for Instagram. Maybe you're going to be doing some Facebook targeted ads. You're going to host a community event in that community. You're going to be sending mailers to those people. So you see where this starts to become, maybe weekly, you're going to be going to this coffee shop so you can start to get to know the community better. And then literally just like that, you have 7 or 8 lead gen strategies that you can capitalize on and just start to grow into this niche. So whether it's something that you can have a name, like I had a niche network, so I was working with attorneys, so I coined the attorney's agent. But you don't even need to have a name necessarily. If anything, this is just what where you can target your marketing. Any questions? Anybody else have any examples they want me to run through? Actually, I think I pretty much covered everything I had written down.
Hey, Jessica.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Jenny. Thanks so much for this talk today. I have an area that I've been thinking of, which of course, so many out-of-state buyers coming into Florida, California, etc. What would be your strategy for something like that?
Awesome question. So there is a website that I want you to look at, and I don't want to mess it up, so give me 1 second to Google it. I want to say it's called, howmoneywalks.com. So I want you to go to I'm going to type it in the chat, howmoneywalks.com. I want you to go to that website and I want you to put in your county. And that website will tell you in this past year, maybe even past few years, where people are moving from to your county. So it will give you like the top 3 counties that people are coming from to your county. And so let's say that you're in Boca Raton, you go to How Many Walks and it tells you the most popular area that people are moving down from is Boston, Massachusetts. Then you can start to literally target that area. Maybe you want to do a Facebook group that's Boston to Boca, and you start to just literally funnel people into that Facebook group. And then you share weekly about what's going on from Boston, what's going on in Boca, the real estate market compared from Boston to Boca. And you can literally start to lead generate within a Facebook group. That's getting like pretty specific, but I would definitely go to howmoneywalks.com. You could do Facebook group, you could do Facebook targeted ads, you could prospect on Instagram and go after people in those specific counties. I love to do active prospecting on Instagram, which is literally where I will just, let's say, again, let's just use Boston for an example. Let's say Boston comes up and a lot of people from your city are moving here from Boston, Massachusetts. You may want to look up some really popular areas in Boston where your ideal client hangs out and go literally look up like coffee shops, like a local coffee shop in Boston, and see who follows them, because those are locals. Whether you do this in your area or in Boston, start to go through and see who follows this coffee shop, because those are your ideal clients right there. They're locals in that community. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know about this coffee shop. And start to engage with them, whether it's commenting or liking some of their photos, sending them a DM if that's your style. Or when I active prospect, my role is just to like 3 things and comment on 1. And so literally you can just go through the list of who follows that local coffee shop, that local restaurant, that local school, and then you're engaging and growing your following with local people in that area.
Wow, thank you very much. That's awesome. I appreciate all those suggestions.
Absolutely. I love that website too.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. I did mine and I had no clue that my county would have gotten such huge business from a city that is like in our area. Like 245 million came from a city that's 45 minutes away that I'm constantly in.
Oh my gosh. So that's so perfect, because that literally is your proof in the pudding that you should continue to hang out in that other city, because they're coming to your city.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love little tricks like that. The website is howmoneywalks.com. I put it in the chat, but it's there. And then awesome. I'm glad you guys are liking that. Billion came to Broward from Miami-Dade. Yeah, I totally believe that. So if you're in the Broward County area, you're seeing the same thing that Tiffany is seeing. The next county over is moving to your area. We'll see that a lot in Florida, where people need to move up they need to keep moving. They need to keep moving because we're growing. So they'll move a county up, and that tends to be a little cheaper. So you may see that like your county is getting an influx from the county next door. Or I think at one point I saw Palm Beach County, a lot of people were coming from like Connecticut or something super random, but it was huge. Like it was the number one place at the time. And I was like, oh my God, I should be targeting this city like crazy if this much money is coming from it. Where to go when you're on the link? Let me look it up on my iPad really quick. So you're gonna go to howmoneywalks.com. Oh, I see. It's not, it doesn't automatically take you to it.
If you click over on the right on the interactive map,
Thank you.
if you're on the homepage, click on that map and then click on your state. And then you can click on your county.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yeah, you're gonna go to the interactive map.
And I think I dropped the right link. It says tax migration.
Oh, yep, that's exactly it. Let me
That's
see.
the link
Yeah,
that
this
I
is the
just-
exact link. Thank you guys. So you're gonna
That's
want to
correct.
go click on your state, and then I'm in Palm Beach County. So yep, it's still on here. Fairfield County in Connecticut is number 2. And $2.27 billion of wealth has been gained from that city. So number 1 is Broward County, which is right next door. And again, this is just will really help you get clear, especially if you like to do something like Facebook ads, or like I said, I love the idea of doing a Facebook group where you literally put Fairfield County, Connecticut, or whatever area of Connecticut that would maybe be called, or maybe you just put in Connecticut to South Florida as a Facebook group. And then you literally have targeted leads in your group right there because they want to know what it's like in Florida and you're the person telling them about it. So who are they going to go to? Awesome. Typing in the whole link work.
What does it mean? And that website says lost wealth to this county, that county, how many billions?
So
they
that
lost?
means people moved out. So you don't really care as much about those numbers because those are the people that are leaving your county, but maybe I don't know, maybe there's a way you could utilize those numbers to get listings, but I look more at where the money came in from. So where people are moving to my city from, rather than where they're leaving and going to.
Crazy.
But yeah, if anybody has an idea to use those other numbers, I'm all for it. Oh, wow. Clares County lost their people to us. I don't know.
No, the
Vice
opposite.
versa.
The
Yeah, vice
opposite.
versa. Yeah.
We gained from y'all.
Yeah, we lost from you.
Yeah, come on. Waterfront is the least expensive in our area, which is my niche.
Oh, I love that. Waterfront's a fantastic niche, but that's the thing too with this is I know it's easy to think like, oh, I want to niche into luxury. I want to niche into waterfront. I want you to do that too, but don't think that that's the only niches that are available. You can get so much more specific too. As somebody like Claire who's been doing this a long time, I mean, waterfront's an amazing niche. I'm from Fairfield County. Oh, cool, Fernando. So somebody like me in Palm Beach County may want to hook up with somebody like Fernando and be like, hey, tell me about Fairfield County. Tell me about, look at all these people moving here. And can you tell me about it? Can you tell me about what local coffee shops I should be looking at? Or can you tell me about something that would appeal to you being from Fairfield, moving down here to Florida? So this group is an amazing resource. We have agents from all over the country. So throw in the chat if you're looking for somebody from a specific area. Awesome. Anything else? If you guys have any other examples you wanted me to take you through, I'm happy to do that. I can usually come up with a lead gen plan around any niche. So if there's anything I didn't cover, feel free to ask.
This was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Debbie.
Yes, thank you so much, Jessica, for taking your time out. And actually, thank you so much for your form entry as well. We're going to take it all the way back to the form entry because you did a beautiful job on that as well. Your presentation.
Oh, thank you.
You don't tell me that.
That's because I know what your forms look like. And they're like, I don't know.
I'm glad you said that. She doesn't never tell me that either. And I take so much time, energy, and pain to fill out my form. Hey,
She didn't tell me that either.
It's been a minute since Fred has filled out a form for me, though.
Yeah. Hey, Jessica, I got to tell you, every time I hear you, every time you introduce an agent, every time I just am so proud of this young lady. I mean, from 2 years ago when she walked in the door, and to watch her grow, and what her radar is open, right? Her antennas are up. And, you know, how did she find howmoneywalks.com? And I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, I spend 40 hours a week looking at things and studying and reading, but how did she find that? Because her antennas are up, and you got to keep your antennas up, and she's thinking. And that's the name of any game, any business, any relationship, is you got to think. That's our number one job, is to think. Jess, great job. I mean, I'm so proud of you, girl.
Thank you so much. I really enjoy this subject. I was not sure what to teach on Tiffany, when you sent me the blank form, I was like, oh, you're not telling me what to talk about? Okay. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed this, as it's something that really has changed my business for the best, because it gets you focused, and real estate can be so all over the place. So I think this is just a really great way to get focused. All right.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.